really good websites win in the first 2.6 seconds. And this is true of all marketing writing. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the tips and tricks to write at a world-class level. Now, these are very rarely followed. And in fact, and this is a scary fact, most marketing people, and in fact writers, have absolutely no idea how to write for marketing. Over the last 20 years, I have worked with hundreds and hundreds of marketers and self-professed fantastic writers who do not know these rules. So by following them, I'm going to give you a fast track to everything you need to know about how to make an impact like that. And when it comes to websites, we have literally 2.6 seconds to win the battle. On average, when people land on a website, that's all of the time they give you to focus on the biggest thing on the screen. That's going to be the headline, and immediately make a decision. Is this the right place to be? And guess what they're not looking for? They're not looking for, we are accountants. They are looking for, does this solve my problem? So the underlying logic of it is, people are inherently self-interested. And that makes sense. What we don't talk about a lot is that our brain is predisposed to protecting us from pain. I mean, its core job is to protect your heart. This is why when you're in cold conditions, your fingers and toes get cold first, because it is pushing that energy back to your heart. Well, the same thing exists with your mind. And the less that it has to think, the more energy it has to protect the heart. So, really good marketing writing is saying, do not think, brain, you're okay. The key to success here is immediately recognizing this solves my problem. So let's look at a couple of rules here. And this meme sums it up best. This is not what you sell. The outcome, which is the ability to throw fire and do cool shit, this is what you sell. This is what people are interested in. They could not care less about how you do it. And this is going to be very challenging for most people watching this video because we are so in our businesses, we love telling you about the facets of it. We love telling you that we're going to be running this event and we're going to be doing this thing over here and it's fantastic and this person will be here. But nobody actually cares how it works. What they care about is the outcome. So, rule number 1, understand what is the customer's problem. And we're going to show you why in a second. And ideally, let's write down a few possible things that the customer's problem could be. I want you to really put yourself in their shoes. So for example, if our customer is someone that is interested in reducing their tax, so they've been searching for an offshore tax advisor. So that we know about them, searched offshore tax advice. We know really what their outcome is. They want to reduce tax, and probably legally, let's say. But that's only the first order need. What else do they want? Well, they want to feel rich and live rich. What else could they potentially want? They might want to feel superior. Oh, can't spell superior. I use this example all the time. When someone wants to buy a vacuum cleaner and they research the vacuum cleaner, no one in their entire life has ever wanted to buy a vacuum. What they want is to keep their house clean, to impress their mum when she comes over, maybe reduce their workload, but they don't want a vacuum. That's how you do it. The outcome is what they actually want. So, map that out and ideally test it. The best marketers don't work on assumptions, they test. Now there's a range of ways that you can do this. I personally love running ads that just based on a click-through rate, I know what people are interested in. But you can do it much more manually than that. If you want to, you can simply go to your existing clients or potential clients and say, hey, if I could reduce the amount of time it takes to clean your house each week, out of 10, how interested would you be? It really isn't that hard. You'll get a feel for it if you ask enough people. But now let's ask ourselves why. Why did I want to know what their problem is? Well, again, they're self-interested, and this is where the writing rules come in. Your headline must solve the customer problem. Now we're going to look at websites, but I don't care if it's a website, a press release, a social media post, any form of marketing communication which is designed to move someone, and this includes salespeople when you walk into a room, recordings on your company phone, anything, any touch point, go in solving the customer's problem. Do not say, I am an accountant, because in any conversation you've lost them. Have a guess if you have to, but know what problem you solve. Now here is a tip. Start with a verb. If you write with a verb, you cannot lose. You know why? Try making a sentence now. Pause the video and try making a sentence that starts with a verb and talks about yourself. You can get close. You can say like, helping more financial outcomes, but it's still not really about you, is it? It's about solving a problem. And that's just a grammatical quirk of English, that if you start with a verb, you will solve a problem. So it's a great tip, and it's not strictly true. It's kind of like the I before E rule. But if you're just starting, this is the best thing that you can start with. Start every headline with a verb, and start every top line of a sentence of a paragraph with a verb. Just see how it changes the way that you write. So let's look at this as an example. Reduce hospital admin time by 70%. Boom. It's the biggest text on the page. It's short. We ideally want to keep headlines no more than 2 lines, and preferably 5 to 7 words. They can be longer, but it's way more effective when they're like this. And then you can use text below to add in context. So you'll often see, this is actually our context line above, one tool for all surgical specialties. A lot of websites will have powerful dot points here. These can be a couple of different things. They can be supporting to talk about outcomes, or they can overcome mental hurdles. You'll often hear me talk about frictions, and this is very, very powerful. What it's been shown is that people are very likely to drop out of the buying cycle if they feel any discomfort whatsoever. And we know that 57% of the buying cycle of anything, but particularly B2B, people want to do independent research before they are willing to speak to a salesperson. So it's really important that we understand what are those things that they are searching for and how do we overcome them. Now, if you haven't done this already, make sure you go to the JMarketing website and download the 9 frictions document. Here, we outline scientifically what those 9 frictions are so that you can overcome them in your marketing writing and your sales pitches. This has been scientifically studied. They are always the same 9 frictions. Will this product completely solve my problem? Are these guys genuinely experts? What about the price? What about post-purchase dissonance? Can I get my money back? These are big things. Read the document. It's going to tell you a lot about it. But when we're talking about dot points, they can either be getting over those frictions or they can be adding context to who this is for so that you know categorically this is for you. Now, I gave you the screenshot where I have digitally altered this headline. I want to make sure that this is sinking in because this isn't what this headline reads when you go to their website. This is. And there's 2 things here that I want you to notice. One of them is that apparently is industry terminology, but it's not very impactful, is it? And the other thing is, notice how this movement here is going on. What's that doing to your ability to focus on this? So when we are writing and also when we're designing, one of the things we want to be really clear on is in the first 2.6 seconds, can we get people to focus on how we solve their problem? This is really the key to all good marketing. Now, I want to finish this in two ways. Firstly, who am I to talk about writing? Well, this has been my expertise for a long time. About a decade ago now, I flew to Boston on my own dollar and chased down the world leader in eye tracking because I was interested in the science of how do people read. We've got this idea that people read big bits of text, everything we write, they'll go into the detail. The truth could not be any further from that. And it's shocking. When you know the truth, you would never write the same again. I'm going to give you a tool to help you with this. What people do is they scan. And their eyes, we think we read every word. Not true. Same as when someone's throwing a baseball at you. The ball is moving faster than you can actually follow it through the air. So you sample. You sample where it is and you swing where you think it's going to be. When we read one or two words and we put the context together ourselves. So when we're writing, short, concise, solving the problem, using words that are common and common language, these are the keys to it. So let me show you an app that I want to get you using. This is Hemingway app. It is totally free, hemingwayapp.com. Let's grab any bit of text. I've just gone to Skillist, which is a website I'm doing some stuff with, and I've grabbed their About Us statement. This is famously one of the worst written things on every single website. And what Hemingway app does is it identifies that this is really hard to read, this is passive voice, and this one is pretty hard to read. Now I'm not going to do it because we're going to run out of time, but what using this tool will get you to do is to break this up into a shorter version. And just quietly too, this is exactly what I was talking about with really, really poor structure. My final tip, my bonus tip, is that all copywriting should follow the exact same structure. The first sentence of every paragraph should solve a problem and tell you what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. So if we go back to our About Us page here, Baden Shaft, a leading PGA teaching professional, was frustrated with the restrictive nature of his business. This is what I call the Three Little Pigs introduction. It's assuming you're going to read everything, and you are not. In fact, in the last 15 years, attention spans have dropped 85%. So if that's going to be a good sentence, let's work out what the point is and then reword it. He could only teach students who were nearby and were limited to working within his schedule. Okay, so clearly the solution is train anywhere, anytime. This is what Baden Shaft, whatever his name is, Shaft, set out to achieve for golfers everywhere. Now you tell me which one of these two just pulled you into the text. And this doesn't yet fully meet my goal, but it is very, very close. So, summary time. Write about the outcome, the problem that you solve. Keep it short and sharp. And remember, I mean this in the nicest possible way, nobody cares about you like you do. So stop talking about you and learn, focus like nothing else on what is their problem and how can you solve it better.